Welcome back. You just saw the strangest thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I was completely aghast at what this whatever it was. So what happened was I did the baptism on Lee. We did some prayers. We prepared. She was, the whole thing went really great. I dunked her under the water. I pulled her back out. Now, as we look back, there was this like a bunch of black brown crud everywhere, and she was like, "What is this stuff?" And then we looked at it closer. We looked at it closer, and it was like, I said, "These things look like little worms or something." And then even closer, by God, they were like twitching like this. And it wasn't just the water that was making them do this really erratic, quick jerk, because there were ones that were doing it like opposite to each other, like, right? So they were actual like living or at least mobile, twitchy little brown, black, reddish, worm-looking things, like almost like a DNA strand wrapped up around each other, like a weave almost, and they had like, some of them had like a whitish clear, like a fluid, almost like a spinal or brain fluid attached to them. It was like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and I can only ascertain that these brain worms are cause the mind to begin it starts to eat your mind. Actually, it starts to divide parts of your brain, so you cannot see structure anymore. So psychopathy starts to actually embed in the person's mind. People become psychotics because of these worms. I mean, I'm guessing, I've only had a couple of days to think about it, but because of the baptism, they are like some kind of devil mind worm. How else do you get rid of these things except believe in God and the whole thing? And the baptism, and that's why the dunking under the water is so necessary. And also, I was thinking just yesterday, I thought about it more, and I thought about pregnancy, and I thought about psychopaths, and I thought, they say they're born bad, and then I thought something that my a priest I just talked to said, that people are not born bad, and I thought, it had been something that I had put on, I had thought about before, and I really thought that there were like these human killers that were psychopaths, and I think I'm beginning to change my mind about that. I think that if people generationally believe in the Word of God, and they do baptism, and they keep a noble life, that these worms will not infect your mind. It just won't happen. That's why you do it when they're a baby, right? Because this was the point. Because you see, if through sin, I think they builds more of it, and when you have a large buildup of it, sometimes I believe maybe from a mother it can be given to her child, evil in the body coming out in the child, like the sins of the father and stuff. It became, and just through the day, it's just become extremely fascinating, and I'm hoping to be able to do a lot more research on this kind of thing, because I looked through the net, I couldn't find anything on it, so this is miraculously just on the vanguard of this thing, I think. Anyway, but also, mind you, when I did the renewal, when Lee, after I baptized her, she gave me a renewal baptism for me. Remember, I said that women can indeed do it, and since there wasn't a Catholic male, it was just my wife, I got her to do a renewal baptism for myself. I was dunked in, and I was pulled out, and the good Lord pushed a bunch of them out of my brain. They were in there. I think they get shot out of the ears, because I was holding, right? So they come out of your ears, and there they were. Another batch of these weird things, right? Now, yes. So like it builds up through time, through sin. It starts to get worse and worse and worse. Now, I didn't have as many as Lee, because I do believe she has a lot more trauma than, or she had a lot more trauma, has had a lot of trauma from many years of not figuring out what her problems were. And for me, you know, I don't think I was abused as bad, so I didn't have as many, but they were there, a bunch still. And it was like, afterwards, me and her laid down, and we felt differently. We felt more at peace. We felt more relaxed. Our mind was sharper, as if a foggy lens had been lifted, and you know, I still feel it right in my frontal lobe, and it's just it really is. Our ears were all like tingly and weird and crunchy for a while after it happened, and I used to suffer from this swelling, and it's gone. The swelling here is gone behind my ear. There's I think I'm actually might be dumping some weird things from my nasal passages for the last long while, because I think they might be actually coming out of my nose. Some of these weird things. They sometimes they build balls, I think, behind the eyes, and that's why when you're sick, your eyes begin to, you know, close, and they start getting all these weird eye problems where you're all crooked-eyed and stuff. It's because of these worms in your mind. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that I think this is like a weird bio spiritual disorder, linked to empathy and to good and to bad and the universe and positive and negative and all those things that make reality a structural thing. I don't want to say I encourage you know, people to go out and baptize other people. It's just it's a sticky topic, because I did it, and it was good. I guess if you know, you can do it, and even a renewal, try it, I think, because you have to see with your own eyes. You have to see these things from your eyes, because what I taped, they were already dead. They twitched for a little bit, and they died because they weren't in the host anymore. So if you see the first video, you can see the first one actually move, and then that's it. But before, because I ran and grabbed the camera, and while I was grabbing the camera, they were all moving, but when it came back, they were mostly dead, except for that one first twitch that you see in the preceding video at the very beginning. If you slow it right down, you'll see one move for sure. Look at it. But if I had had the camera, I didn't know otherwise. If I had my video camera right there, right after I did the baptism, I could have shown you guys all these little weird things moving around, because they were all alive and moving. But by the time I got it, they'd all died, mostly, except for that little one. Sorry? Yeah, we were totally clean. There wasn't any. We had both bathed right before, because we wanted to be clean for our baptism, so we had washed our hands.